I know we just have a few minutes left here, but I did want to spend a little bit of time just kind of talking to you broadly about CodePink. So first of all, how did it kind of come to formation? What's kind of the story in your words there?
Well, I'll date myself by saying that during the beginning of the Bush years, he had this color-coded system called red, yellow, orange alerts, and it was part of making people feel constantly in a state of fear about being attacked and justifying the invasion of Afghanistan, justifying the invasion of Iraq, justifying a national security state, the Patriot Act, et cetera, et cetera. And so we formed CodePink to say, let's go after the individuals who attacked us on 9/11 and not use this as an excuse to invade other countries and deprive us of our rights here at home. So we've been working for the last 20 years. We call ourselves a feminist organization, and we invite men to be part of that. We are a group that is very active. We were one of the few groups that stayed active during the Obama years, calling him out for his policies that kept us in this state of war. And it's funny, Ron, because you mentioned how the people, it's kind of a poverty draft with people who don't have other options going to fight. But we also should say, thanks to Obama, that they really moved the U.S. fighting away from Americans getting killed to only the people we attack getting killed because of so much of the use of drones and aerial warfare. And that's why I wrote a book called Drone Warfare, Killing by Remote Control, to show that now we don't even have to put our own military at risk. We can just press buttons and kill people thousands of miles away. So CodePink has been trying to turn the U.S. War machine around slowly by getting us out of the wars we're all still in, stopping new wars. For example, we went with a group called Women Cross the DMZ. That's the, quote, demilitarized zone. It's the most militarized zone in the world between North and South Korea, calling for peace on the Korean Peninsula, and we applauded Trump when he reached out to Kim Jong-un. Unfortunately, he just botched the whole thing. But now we certainly are part of calling for peace in the Korean Peninsula under the Biden administration. We call for U.S. to withdraw the hundreds and hundreds, over 800 military bases that we have spread out all over the world. And we have these bases there. Many of them are relics of a Cold War. And speaking of Cold War, one of our big programs right now is to stop the Cold War, a new Cold War with Russia and China. And we have a campaign at CodePink called China is Not Our Enemy, where we do some kind of action every single week to try to get more fair coverage about China, to try to promote cooperation with China on things like the pandemic and like the climate. So these are some of the things that we're involved in. And we feel very excited that under this Biden administration, we can really see some changes. We're very happy that he lifted the Muslim ban already. That's very important and affected a lot of our friends in Muslim countries around the world. And we're looking forward, as we talked about here, to re-entering the nuclear deal. But if we want to get out of the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, I don't think this Biden administration is about to do that without a lot of pressure from us. So let's say, let's not look back 4 years from now and see that these wars we've been in now for over 20 years. Let's try to make sure that we use this administration and a Democratic Party that has the House and the Senate to say, get us out of these wars.
So you guys, y'all do a lot of direct actions, and y'all do a lot of, I don't know what the right way to put it is. I don't know if I would call it pranks, but like, I guess kind of theatrical, symbolic actions, like having the blood on the hands, yelling war criminal at Donald Rumsfeld, which was one of my personal favorite moments, by the way. But do you have a favorite action that you've done?
Yes, I do. And It was an action when many years ago, the U.S. was threatening a naval blockade on Iran, meaning that Iran could not ship any of its oil. Iran could not get shipments of food and medicines or anything into the country. And there was a Democrat who was a key member of the committee that was contemplating this. And as we were thinking about what can we do to push these people, we found out that he lived on a houseboat in the Potomac, right in Washington, D.C. And we thought, oh my gosh, how wonderful. And we created our own naval blockade. We got canoes and paddle boats and all kinds of crazy little boats together. We made life jackets that had peace signs all over them. We decked ourselves out with all kinds of regalia. And we went and we blockaded his house so that he couldn't get out of the house at 7 a.m. when he was going out to work. It was such a brilliant action. We had Fox News with us there. We had the Washington Post. We had all kinds of media. And the best thing about it is the congressman came out looking out, to try to get out of his boat. And he looked around at all these mostly women clad with boas and pink life vests and everything. And all he could do was start laughing. And it broke the ice. We let him out. And he came over and put his arms around us and said, I've never seen a more clever action in my life. Why don't you come and we'll meet in my office and talk more?
And was that a productive discussion?
It was a wonderful discussion, and we became quite friendly with him. So that was one of my favorite actions because the result was such a good one.
Well, thank you so much for being so generous with your time today. And of course, thank you for everything that you do. In closing here, please just direct people anywhere you want to direct them to learn more about you, to learn more about CodePink, and just anything else you want to mention.
Well, I mentioned that people should sign up for our alerts on the website, which is codepink.org. But we also have something that's even more exciting, which is every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we are doing educational events and action. The action part is really exciting because we learn and then we stop and we say, okay, here's a script. Now let's get on the phones. And together we get on the phones and we start calling Congress people, senators, the White House, leaving messages. So it's really exciting. We get top-notch people. Sometimes they're Congress people. Sometimes they're authors, brilliant analysts. We have tomorrow night is the fantastic writer and analyst Trita Parsi on Iran. We invite people to join us. We have actually several hundred people who are joining us every Tuesday night. So you can go to the CodePink website and find that. It's called CodePink Congress.
Thank you so much, Medea. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate you talking to me today.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and